Hi, honeys. What are you guys doing? Hi, Pookie. Go get your coffee. It's going to be a long night.
Can you get this cat in my room?
Sorry, guys. Give me just a minute. I have to make some coffee. I would like for you guys to make your coffee.
You just tell TikTok to make coffee.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going live, and we are going to discuss something pretty heavy. Pretty heavy discussion tonight, you guys. So, how was your Sunday? I know. What'd you guys do? Huh? Did anybody do anything fun on this Sunday? Puppy, you want this soup? I made soup. What'd you guys have for dinner? I made soup. Okay, honey, give me just a minute, okay? I'm making some coffee. Your spine is inflamed and had to get a steroid. Oh no, honey. Ouch. Yeah, I made soup. I made I don't know what it's called. It's Megan Special. Megan Special is what we're gonna call it. It was actually really good. You guys want the recipe? All you do, right? All you do is take a can of whatever vegetables you want, right? I used corn, green beans. I threw some potatoes in there. I grilled some onions. I added chicken. I added a can of Megan Special. I added a can of cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, cream of celery soup, and a box of chicken broth. So it had extra flavor, right? Got all the vegetables. And then, I season it salt, pepper, garlic. I don't know, maybe oregano, maybe some mustard seeds, maybe some parsley, whatever else I had in my cabinet. I just picked out a bunch of things out of my cabinet and threw it in a big old giant pot and called it soup. It was actually really good. Hi, honeys. I would like for you guys to all go make your coffee. Go get your coffee. Go get your Diet Coke. Go get your iced tea. Even if it's a gin and tonic that's going to keep you up late tonight, make that bitch a double, y'all, okay? No judgment over here. Hello, TikTok. We are getting into something extremely heavy tonight. Let me turn this off because I'm not in the bushes no more. Let me turn my light off too. We are getting into something extremely heavy tonight, right? For those of you who know, right? I personally like to hear both sides of the story, right? I have given multiple people my platform. I have opened up my platform for the past 2 years to multiple people for them to come on here and speak their side of the truth. And I think TikTok as a whole needs to hear this side of the truth. And I think you guys should give her the attention that she fucking deserves, because what is being said is absolutely fucking absurd. Absolutely fucking absurd. The lies that are coming out of specific people's mouths, right? Not okay. Not okay. I went back last week and rewatched Alive, right? Let me back up. This said individual reached out to me. People reach out to me, right? They feel like my platform is a safe place to come and speak and tell their side of the truth. We all know that, right? This person reached out to me, told me her side of the story. Wasn't ready to go live with it. Hey, fine. This is you. You don't want to go live. You don't want to speak about it. It's okay. I heard you. That's all you wanted, was somebody to sit there and listen to your side of the story. I get it. So she told me where I could go and rewatch a live that happened so that I could get a better understanding of the two stories. So I did, right? Well, time went by. She reached out again. Megan, I need a phone call. Could you talk? I'm sorry. I'm busy. I work, my family, apologies, whatever. Tonight, a live happened. I was not in that live. Nope, I wasn't. I was in another live as they were streaming it. And I was probably in that live for maybe a half hour before I left, because the lies were fucking diabolical, right? So then I reached out to said individual and was like, holy fuck, girl, are you okay? We had a phone call conversation. Hold on. We had a phone call conversation. And now she's ready to speak her truth. And I'm going to give her the platform to allow her to speak her truth. And if nobody likes that, that's a you problem. I don't care. I don't care. This lady is going to have a voice. And I think TikTok should listen to her side of the story, because it's only right. What's up?
You wanted me here.
Yeah. I did. I did reach out to OG as well and said, OG, fuck. Fuck, girl, I need you. I think that's what it was. It was like, I need you, exclamation, like.
And I came right to the app looking for it to be live, and I'm like, where are you? Like, where are you?
So, my coffee is being made right now, and I don't feel that it is respectful to walk away from this lady when she's telling her story. So as soon as I make my coffee, I will be more than happy to accept you up. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm here and I'm settled and I have no distractions so that we could talk about this.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people may not agree with this. Okay. And all I'm going to say to those who might jump on the disagreement bandwagon right away is stop, listen, make your own mind up, not what somebody else has told you. Me personally, myself, I'm going to save my thoughts and opinions until the end. All too often on this app, something gets said or shown or whatever, and people jump on it and run with it, right? I mean, look, I'm a perfect example. Apparently, I'm the leader of the cartel, and my husband and I are murderers. I'm too fucking lazy to do anything of that sort. Let's go way back to damn near what 2 years ago now, Megan, maybe even 3, when I was being called a scammer, and nobody would hear me, nobody would listen to me. People seen, they seen. I let them in my phone. They seen, and they didn't want people to turn on them. So it was easier for them to walk away from me. And I get it, okay? But Megan was the first person that, when her and I talked, and I opened my phone up for her, and she said, "Holy shit, OG." She said, "You have all this proof against what's being said on you, and you've never put it out there." And I'm like, nope. So all I'm going to say to all 109 people in here is listen with an open mind to the person who actually lived this story. Me, myself, I'll have to listen as well, because I've not listened to any of this story other than maybe 10 minutes of it on the phone when Megan called me and merged me into a call.
I need my stress ball too. I have to go get my banana. Oh, I have a cube.
I got a whole bag of bunnies right here because they're for the grandbaby's Easter baskets. There was leftovers. Hi, Katie.
I want to put my my trigger warning up too.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you this too, and Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not here. There will be zero tolerance of any shitty ass comments.
Where's it at? Hold on.
If you have questions, great. But there will be no tolerating any shitty comments or attacking. Hey, SPG. I believe so, Animal, but let me just double check with Megan.
I'm looking for my background. I don't even know where it's at. What the hell?
Attacking or shitty comments or muting, right, Megan?
Yeah, absolutely. Do not block anybody. Do not block anybody. I repeat, do not block. Maybe I should go on my other account. Well, no, because they all have sneakies and shit. Please do not block anybody, right? They come in here acting crazy, being disrespectful, fucking mute them. I want everybody, right, to hear this. I want the streamers, the YouTubers, whatever, to post this live later so they could go back and listen to it.
Yeah, and Luna, if it gets to that point, I will shut off the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it does get out of control, you guys know how I do it. Comments will be, you know what? Comments will be taken off.
Hey, AK.
Absolutely.
I also believe that some people might try to get this live taken down. So if you could tap, that would be great. Send your daily heart me's up there.
Yep. So once again, everybody go get your coffee, go get your Diet Coke, go get your iced tea. Even if it's gin and tonic that's going to keep you up through this fucking live, make that bitch a triple, y'all. Good evening, TikTok. Let's talk, bitches. I'm going to get my coffee right now. I will be right back.
Okay. AK, hey, Easter Bunny.
Get Easter Bunny out of here.
Bye. AK, there, she's not said who it's about yet. Okay, 1 second, Animal. Thank you, Salty. Megan is opening her platform for somebody to tell their side of the story. Yes, I know who it is. No problem, TikTok. I have not heard the full story. I've heard maybe 10 minutes ish of it when Megan called me tonight. So before you came in, I did tell everybody to just hit the dispensary ready. Be open-minded and listen to the person who actually lived through this experience, not what other people are saying.
All right, are you ready down there in the comments, honey?
Yeah, mods mute only.
Yeah, only mute, and I don't want nobody to be blocked, please.
No, Shannon, because Megan wants to make sure everybody can hear.
Oh, you know what?
That's a good song, Corey.
Girl, go get you a stress ball. I got a needle right here. It's a tie-dye needle. I might have to get my banana too because it's gonna get pretty stressful. Yeah. Well, she'll be here when she's ready, right? Let's give her a minute. So whenever she's ready, she'll just knock on the door, and we'll get it started. Hi, Donna. Let me just. Hi,
Yeah,
honeys.
Ken.
Hi.
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Do you want me to turn the comments off really fast until things get
And
or
as long as they're not being disrespectful, I don't mind them. And if somebody has a question or something pops up, they can say something, and maybe I might need to go back and
okay?
you know.
Well, I'm going to turn the comments off for my own piece
Okay.
until I'm ready to look at them, right? Because I am learning to read my comments in my live because my friends were getting upset when we were having normal conversations. I would never read my comments and now I can't stop. Okay. So really fast, just introduce yourself, let the people of TikTok who don't know you who you are, and then just start at the very beginning. Right.
Well, obviously y'all can see I go by the screen name Stop the BS. My actual name is Melissa.
You didn't have to do all that.
I'm in my 50s. Does that matter?
No, we don't need to give out too much personal information. I was just kind
Okay.
of an outline of who you are, and okay, stop the BS. All right. And just know, honey, right? Whatever you're feeling right now, right? It's okay. And I told you this on the phone. I think it's very important for you to show those emotions to all of TikTok so all of TikTok could get a clear understanding of how damaging it is to put out false information. And everybody wants to talk about mental health, this, mental health, that, mental health, this, but they don't give a fuck about you right now.
No, they don't, and they haven't since this started. But I'll let me know when you want me to start.
Yeah, you go right ahead. If you're ready, we're here listening.
Okay. I'm gonna start when my son was 2, is because I started noticing signs that went above and beyond like what a terrible 2 would be. And at that same time, I was also in a devious situation with their dad. I was in that situation for 12 years, so there's been a lot of trauma. But when he was 2, I started noticing signs of, things that he would do that, a terrible 2s, it was just beyond that. So me always saying that, I would always be there for my kids and I would always do whatever it took, to make sure my kids were okay. I got in touch with my local community mental health, and it was said that they don't see children at the age of 2, and they do. I don't know about where you live, but they would come to my home once a week and they would work with myself about different things that I could try or do, or things to say, maybe things not to say, educating me. And they would also work with him on a one-on-one base, but they would do it at my home until he got older. So I started him when he was 2 years old. I knew what was wrong with him, but it could not be diagnosed, or they didn't want to diagnose until he was an adult. And that is bipolar. I knew he had bipolar because some of the things that he was doing was some of the same things that his dad did at that same age.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have a question. I think it's kind of important for you to let the people of TikTok know why they don't diagnose a 2-year-old with bipolar.
It's because it's very rare that they see it in a toddler. And what they will tell you is they are going to, it's called ruling out bipolar, but instead they will give you the diagnosis of ADHD, ODD, and anxiety, which are exactly what they labeled him as, that he wasn't. There was other symptoms like, which is exactly, if you look up, you can Google it yourself, toddler with bipolar, and it'll tell you all of this. He wouldn't sleep at all.
Would you like for me to look that up and read it for them?
Yes, you're more than welcome to, Megan. But he would go days and days and days without sleeping until he would hallucinate. He would see people out his bedroom window that were not there. It was crazy stuff.
Just real quick, sorry, Megan, while you're at it, you might want to look up what ODD is and let everybody know what that is too, because I know a lot of people probably do not know, and it's held
oppositional defiant disorder.
Yeah.
Animal's in the queue to come up. Do you mind if I bring him up and sit quietly, or Animal, do you have questions, Animal? Because if you do, we're not taking questions yet. We're just kind of listening to her story.
Yeah, he just texted me and asked if you would allow him to come sit in the box, and then when he had questions, if he could ask questions, and I said that you were welcoming questions when needed.
Yeah, just let's listen to her story first. Yeah.
Um, I knew there was, problems with him when I put him in. Um, it was preschool at 3 to 4, from 3 to 4. Um, and then of course what I was trying to do by getting him help early was to kind of get a handle on things before he started kindergarten at 5. That didn't seem to work out because um, they gave him something to help him sleep, but the other medications, there's not enough Ritalin or Adderall that will help fix his bipolar. It was hereditary on his dad's side, very much. That's why I said his father had it severely. His grandmother, his dad's sister had it, and his dad's uncle had it. So it was in the family. And that's why when I knew what to watch out for, I knew what I was seeing. And if anybody wants to know what types of things I was seeing, I can tell you that at the end.
If you need honey, if you need a minute, you take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush through this. If you need to step away for a minute, take a couple deep breaths. Please do that, right? This is a lot for you. You have been drug on this app for the better month of fucking 4 months. And this is what I know of, one of the first times that you're actually getting to full details about this. So if you need time or if you don't want to do this, you just let me know you're done and we will end it. Okay?
Thank you. I'm okay now. Right now, I will move on to, all of this happened within 1 year, which I told Megan about. October 31st, it was Halloween. I was in a DV situation with their father. And my mother was up visiting from Ohio, is where she lived at the time. And he, I don't know what TikTok word I should use, but kind of poked a screwdriver a few times into my mom and her girlfriend at the time. And then he threw my mother backwards and she had landed on a boulder and she was knocked completely out from that. He was probably less than a half inch away from getting pew-pewed by the police that night. That happened in October. I want to say within the first or second week of that following January, my son and my nephew, who are only a year apart, my son was only 6 at the time, but the two of them caught my trailer on fire. We lost everything. There was nothing salvageable. When that happened on a Friday, that following Monday, my ex had to go to court. But the only thing that they could get to stick on him was resisting an officer, which was not his first offense. But they could not bring the charges for what he did to my mother because they sent all this stuff to the wrong address, so my mom didn't know at the time. And of course, the police knew that I wasn't going to press charges on him, nor would I testify against him for the DV on myself. If you've been in a DV situation, you'll understand that you don't do that. So that was in January, and like I said, the following Monday, he was sentenced to jail. Meanwhile, I was left to figure out, how I was going to clothe my kids, get us a roof over our head, from losing everything. So we went through that, and during the time he was in jail, I had gotten us an apartment, and a friend of mine called me, which we were best friends from high school, and told me that she had a friend that needed help, that had nowhere to stay. She had 2 young boys. And I, of course, if I can help somebody, I do. And so they came up to where we were living, and I did just that. I got her on her feet. I got her a place to stay with her and her 2 kids, which was about 25 minutes away from where I stayed. And so once a week, I would go over there, and I'd make sure, does she need to go to the grocery store? Does she need to run to the bank? Or, do you need to run to the gas station? Whatever, I would do it once a week. And one of those times that I did that, her oldest son was 13, had just turned 13, and her younger son was 11. And I was gone for about 20 minutes because where I was taking her was like 5 minutes down the road, 5 minutes back, and I think we were in the gas station for like 10 minutes. So we were gone for about 20 minutes. And during that time that we were gone, it didn't come out until later, but her 13-year-old son put his mouth on my son's private.
Mouth hugs. Let's use mouth hugs.
Okay, put mouth hugs on my son. I didn't know it at the time because when it first happened, the boys, of course, the older one was 13. He was old enough to babysit, and they were just sitting there on the floor. They were playing video games. And so my son just wanted to stay and play video games, and I didn't see a problem with that because I was only going to the gas station and back. But that's when that happened. I didn't know it at that time. It wasn't until I was home. I was doing laundry, so I was folding some clothes, and all of our bedrooms were upstairs. There was no bedrooms downstairs, so I took the basket and I was walking upstairs to put the clothes away, and that's when I saw my son at 6 years old getting ready to do mouth hugs on his sister. And I said 1.5 years, but the more I thought about it, because there was so much that happened within that 1 year, she was actually 2 when that happened. And of course, I yanked his little butt up. I took him downstairs. I believe I spanked him. And he knew I was angry. I told him, what he did was wrong. You don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And that is how I found out about the 13-year-old. He didn't know at 6 years old that what he was doing was wrong, and he didn't know that what had been done to him was wrong. He was repeating what was done to him. But when I found out, I immediately told his therapist through mental health. I told CPS. I told the sheriff's department. I did not keep that from any of them. And I did not tell them a half truth and only what had happened to him. I told them what he was getting ready to do and what I caught him doing up to what had happened to him. Now that 13-year-old boy did have to go to court. When court was all said and done, that 13-year-old was supposed to register until he was 35. But within a couple of months after court was over, his mother got the okay through the courts to move to Pennsylvania. And once he moved, he never registered. I don't know where he's at to this day. I don't know. A lot has happened it's been there's been a lot of dramatic things in my life that, at my age, I thought I'd put them away back then. I just pushed them down and didn't want to talk about it. I could just move on. And a lot of that has been brought back out. I also want, it was said in Spill's Live about when she was 7 and he was 11 that he raped her, which is not true. I got my divorce from their father December 2nd of 2008. He had, at the time, had custody of my son. I had custody of my daughter. On the 19th, he had gotten the okay from the courts to take both of my kids to North Carolina for Christmas that year. They left on the 19th, and they got about 3 hours from their destination, and they were in a serious accident. My daughter, she was 6 at the time, December 19th. Her birthday was the following March. She would have been 7. So when that accident happened, her leg was severed at her ankle. Her right arm was broke. She had a brain bleed. They had to do surgery on her face to reconstruct her face. She had several surgeries, most of them on her ankle area where it had severed. She was in the hospital until the 3rd of February is when we were able to bring her home. When we got home, there was already a hospital bed in our living room. I did not sleep in my bed for the next year because where my room is at, if she would have needed something or needed help during the night or woke up in pain, I would not have heard her. So I slept on the couch right next to the hospital bed in case at any time during the night she was to wake up. She would have been 7. A month after we got home, she would have turned 7. She was in a wheelchair. Not only did she have 2 surgeries? 2 more surgeries after we got home. She had to have, heal from those. She couldn't walk. She had to go to therapy, which therapy lasted for a long time because they had to teach her how to walk all over again. He did not move back in with me and my son, I'm referring to. Wasn't until he was 12. September would have been his 12th birthday, and I did not get custody back of him until December of that year. When I went back to court to get custody of my son back, the judge even said the ink's not even dried from when we finalized my divorce. It was 1 year to the day that I got custody of him back, because when the accident happened, his father, both of their father, was doing rugs while on their way down. He would stop at a rest area and do something and then drive. And he had just stopped at one of the rest areas and did what he did and then got back on the road and the accident happened. So he wasn't even living here with me while she was 7. turned into 8. That was no way possible.
Do you want to get into where he was at and that situation
Yes, I can.
before we move forward to give them a clear picture?
It started when he was 10 and he had an outburst at home, which his outbursts, like I said, were horrible outbursts, that I had to call 911 to get help, to get him to calm down. And they ended up taking him away in handcuffs because he wasn't calming down. And at that time, the judge placed him, he was 10, and the judge placed him in the juvenile lockup, juvie basically. I was told at that time by the judge, because I was concerned about him being there at that age, that I was reassured that he would be put in a place by himself and that the older kids would not be placed with him. That was only a place to hold him until they could find a facility for him, to get him additional help. When he got to the facility where they ended up placing him, they had to take him to the ER because while he was at the juvie, they put a 14-year-old boy. Because while he was at the juvie, they put a 14-year-old boy in the cell with graped him from in his behind till it bled. And they called to tell me that after they got him back out from college, until they called me. So of course I was upset. When we went to court, the very next time that we went to court, I had spoke to his, I guess, case manager, the person that works with him at the place where he's placed. I call him, I would call him his caseworker. She was there, and I talked to her out in the hallway. And I asked her, if she was, if there was going to be therapy because of that, therapy about that. And she flat out said no. So when we all went into court, I was there basically. I begged and pleaded with the judge to please get him therapy on that. I begged and pleaded. And because I basically asked for him to have therapy on that, their reaction was, let's not let her visit him. I was not allowed to, my rights were taken. I was not allowed to talk to him, write him, call him, or visit him. I wasn't allowed to do anything. So when he was 11, of course, well, let me back up. When he was 10 and he went into that facility is when I got out of my marriage with their father. So I was going through the divorce process. So when they released him and he was done at that facility, they released him back to his father, who had abused him physically and emotionally. And that's why he was in his dad's custody at that time. But I need a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Take your time, honey. Absolutely. Take your time. Step away from your phone. Take a couple deep breaths. Go outside, whatever. Collect your thoughts. If you even have to drop and come back up, right? It's okay, right? This is a lot for you. There's a lot of people in here, and there's a lot of people that are not happy about this live right now. And all I'm asking from TikTok is to just listen to her. That's it.
Wendy, that's exactly what I said. They were treating him for ADHD and ODD instead of what he truly had back then and still has to this date. Let me back up just a bit. When he was 6 and we went through all of that, I was still having trouble with him in school. He was violent. I'm assuming CPS must have gotten involved, but they didn't come to my home. But it was brought to my attention that CPS was going to pay for him to go into a treatment. That would have been his very first time ever going into a treatment facility, was when he was 8. But in order for that to happen, I had to go in front of the judge and plead guilty. I was not in trouble. I was not charged, but I had to plead guilty so that CPS would pay for his treatment at 8. And I felt like I was doing the right thing, because if we want to help our kids, if they're having mental health issue or whatever it is, I thought I would do anything. I would take a bullet for my kids if it meant it's going to help them. So yes, I did go in front of that judge and plead guilty to get my kid the help at 8. But it wasn't the only time he was placed in a facility for that. Not only facilities, but he was also placed in a children's mental hospital twice.
May I ask a question really fast?
Yes.
They're asking down in the comments, what exactly did you plead guilty to?
Neglect.
Neglect.
Yes, that is the only thing. That's what they told me I had to do in order for them to pay to get him the help. He was placed 4 hours from where I lived at the time, and I was willing to do it. I drove the 4 hours every week to be there for his visits, to be there to work with the people that work there. I participated in everything. There's not one time that I did not participate to try and get him better and to try to get them to see that this is not ADHD or ODD. This is right, Strawberry. I knew he had bipolar. I could tell you guys some of the things that he would do, but it's crazy, you know. It's crazy. And so
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt really fast. What's not going to happen, right? You guys aren't going to come in here and be rude in the comments, right? You guys don't like what we're doing? Kindly exit left. My platform has been and will always be a place where people could come here and speak their truth, right? So if you don't want to sit here and listen, then leave. Go somewhere. Don't be rude in the fucking comments. You got a question? When she's done telling her story, boxes will be open, and she is willingly answering any and all questions. And you best believe I have fucking questions. I'm getting receipts right now as we speak. I'm going to be questioning things. So let's not be fucking rude in the comments. Go ahead.
So because he was placed in so many different facilities throughout his childhood, when he was 17 and this allegation came about, what I am saying is that they had like, he was such a problem that they did not want to know the truth of what happened.
I don't know. I don't know if she dropped. I don't know if TikTok glitched and dropped her. I don't know what just happened. She's doing this, right? Because Spilled on the FYP and all those people over there had a live tonight and spewed a bunch of lies about her. They have been doing this for the past month or two. And she's tired of the lies being told. So she wants to speak her truth. That is why she's doing this. Did they ban you, honey? The audio's going in and out. My audio is, but if she's... You think so? Listen, Linda, documents were shown on OG. Documents were shown on OG. And y'all twist that shit and turned it around up inside, all and out. I want to hear her side of the story, her experience, her life. I'm not going to listen to what you guys have over there without listening to the other side. You guys know how I play.
Hey, listen, Linda, down there, in the comments, you said that, documents were shown. Do you have said documents that you could send to, like, Megan so we could see them?
Listen, Linda, why don't you be a big girl and put your big girl panties on and come in on your main account? It's not that hard.
Robin, that's what I would like to know that too. How old is the son currently, and did they ever live in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Her son is grown. Like, he's married. He's a full-ass adult right now.
Right. I know. There's a reason why I'm asking. Is he like 31 now?
I don't know exact age. I have no idea.
I think she's getting those 10-minute restrictions for the FYP, Megan. I think that's why she dropped. Just my suggestion. I would just ignore it.
I'm in Cincinnati.
She's probably not familiar with the boxes like we are, so she saw a restriction and dropped. Where we would just sit there and be like, okay, so it's a restriction for non-seeing in the FYP.
Well, you know, this is a very heavy topic, so maybe she does need a couple minutes just to, you know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to share
Yeah.
that with you. Y'all stop blowing up our phones.
Yeah. That's... Well,
I'm
no.
not going to
don't.
stop this live. I am going to give this woman a voice, whether you guys like it or not.
Everybody needs to realize this is Megan's platform. Not yours, not mine. I'm a friend of Megan's. What she wants to do, it's her choice. Do I have to agree with it? No. But I'm going to support her, which is what everybody should do.
Animal said stop blowing up our phones. Don't stop blowing mine up. Please absolutely send every article, any documents, anything y'all have, because I will say I have not heard anything in regards to this situation until Megan, maybe 10 minutes before the live, and then even then there was no details gone into at that time. So absolutely, if you have documentation that proves that what they're saying is not true, by all means, please send it to me.
Yeah, please. And we will show it and I will question it. Absolutely. The boxes are going to be open for anybody to come up and ask her questions respectfully. And she's willing to answer these questions for you guys.
I guess she's back under another account. And yeah, I have questions. Everybody has questions. Like, listen. Let's listen to what she has to say. There's a lot of holes, and we need those holes filled. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, you're her. Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't following you on this account.
No, you're fine. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Since he was such a problem, as a child, when the father, okay, I got it. It's Angie's daughter, okay, that has the 3 kids. It wasn't Angie's kids. It was her daughter and her husband. They were just started a divorce. And it was really, really bad divorce. He wanted custody of the kids up where they're at. She wanted custody of the kids down here, and neither of them wanted to share the kids back and forth. He got caught in the middle of that because when her daughter first left her husband, right? I'm talking about the daughter. When she first left him, she came down here to our house, which was fine. That's Angie's daughter. That's, we're supposed to be there for our kids, right? So she came down here. And because we are in a different county than where he was and where she left, he went to the courthouse. He filed papers and got custody of the kids right then and there. So they took the kids from our house and they went up to their dad. While they were in their dad's custody is when the one child was told by this father about, saying the stuff that she said. It wasn't true. It didn't happen. We had rules in our house. It never happened, but the father thought if he made that accusation about my son, then he would get to keep custody up where he's at. Well, during the separation time, he could not continue to, pay the bills there. He ended up moving in with his parents. And his brother also lived with his parents. His brother had I believe it was 10 or 11-year-old boy there. And his brother had custody of that boy. And so Angie's daughter, in response, blamed his nephew, which is his brother's son, blamed him for the same thing with both of the girls instead of one. That's why she wanted, by her saying that, would get custody. She would get custody, which had happened. She got custody of the kids. And all of the brainwashing that was going on with both sides was absolutely crazy. But she ended up getting custody of those kids. And it was so bad. She got the kids to actually they couldn't stand their father. Not by anything that he did wrong, but it was by what Angie's daughter was telling them. It got so bad to the point that this man wasn't allowed visitation, couldn't call him, couldn't nothing. He ended up taking a pew-pew to his head and blowing it off.
Let's be careful.
Well, I said pew pew.
Yeah. Let's just be careful with that. Go ahead.
I'm trying to use TikTok, friendly words.
No, I know
But-
you are. I know you are.
But that is what he did. And because it was so bad between Angie's daughter and her ex-husband, his parents then had him buried one street over from us. So that way, every time Angie's daughter left her home or came back home, that her daughter had to drive by the cemetery where he was buried and would have to remember him and why he was there. It was awful. Go ahead.
May I ask a question really fast?
Yes.
From my understanding, it was stated over in Spill's Live tonight that they have I don't want to misword this. What they said was there was findings of an incident from a hospital report.
That's what they said, but that's incorrect.
Now, my first question is how, this is for you guys over there, spilled on the FYP. How are you getting reports, documents from a hospital for a minor? That's what I want to know.
That's breaking HIPAA.
I know I have probably, I probably missed some things because I tend to do that. Like my mind bounces in several different directions. So if there's anything that I haven't said, Megan, that I told you, will you please ask me or ask me to explain something that I have told you?
Yeah, so just to clarify, right? Could we talk about how they said that you guys lived at Angela's mother's house?
Yes, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Ange and I, as a couple, we both signed for the house that we are currently in. We've been here since March 11th, 2008, all the way current. Never one time did I move in with Angela's mom with my children. Never one time did Ange move in with her mom and her children were adults. So no, she did not move in with her children. None of that ever happened. And Angie has never lost custody of her children.
And all of this is being said, right? Over
Yes.
in their live over there tonight. Okay. Do you want to answer a couple questions now, or should we just watch that live and listen to that live really fast, and you could explain all the lies that was said over there tonight for the people who don't know what was said and what's going on?
However you want to do it, I'm fine with. just so you guys are aware, if you Google, and any of you can Google it yourself, toddlers with bipolar, it will tell you, and it will let you know that it has to be a specialized child, was it psychologist? Is that what it was? Psychiatrist, and it's a specialized one for children that would be able to diagnose him as a child with bipolar. And as I stated, he was placed in a children's facility, mental hospital, 2 different times. And one of the times, he was so out of control that they had to give him a shot to get him to calm down. That is not normal behavior as a child. They don't like to diagnose children with bipolar, and it is very rare for them to do so. But in my heart of hearts, and what I was begging them to, that way he could get on the proper medications that would, help his behavior, would have been totally different.
Thank you, Kool-Aid.
Hi, Ribs. Everybody could please share it out across the board. If people get out of line in the comments.
Megan,
A little bit better.
can you please mute Contrary 11.0? They're saying that spread love, and I want nothing to do with her. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's not the real one, Kool-Aid.
All right, let me just find a spot where they start talking.
For everybody to know. The information that I am going to share with you was given to me by Creator Watchdog that is in the box above Rem. Sorry, Rem.
So the information she received is given to her from Creator Watchdog.
I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I will get started.
All right, well, let me fast forward here for 2 more fucking minutes because I really don't want to listen to you breathe.
This is a trigger warning. This does have to do with situations involving a minor. Well, let me backtrack. Everybody, if you weren't in my last live, I put out some information regarding some allegations of Anthony in my previous live. I want everybody to know tonight's information is what he was convicted of, what actually sent him to jail and what put him on the registry. This also was a situation that happened prior to the other allegations coming out. The allegations that I spoke of last time were put out about a month after he went to jail for this crime. Is everybody following? Okay. This is new stuff. This is going to be what he was charged and convicted and put him on the registry. All right. You figure this out here. Okay. Sorry if you can't read the comments, but this is your trigger warning. And these are the people that it is going to involve. You're going to hear me talk about these people. If you need to screenshot that, go ahead and screenshot it so you can reference it.
Is this timeline, is this information on this fucking green screen correct or no?
No, that's not correct.
You guys, this is all I'm doing. This is all I'm doing is giving this woman a voice, right? Because they're spewing misinformation. I don't know who made this little fucking, what do you guys call it? A slideshow, right? But they got their information all fucking wrong.
Yes, the victim was 7. And he was 17. Okay, Ash, that's fine. Okay, next slide. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying.
You got this, babe.
Oh, there's another slide. I might as well not put my green screen up so I can show you guys. And we can ask questions, right, respectfully in the chat, and she'll be more than happy to answer them.
That is out of the state of Michigan.
Megan, I think that that particular victim that they're talking about was 7 at the time. I got that confused with where they're trying to accuse him of doing it to my daughter who was 7.
So the 7-year-old was your wife's daughter's child.
Right. So it would have been my wife's granddaughter.
Would have been your wife's granddaughter. Okay.
Yes.
So they're talking about that child.
Yes.
The information.
Yes, Wendy, I say that victim because they have spewed out more things that were not true.
So the information about you moving in with a mother, all of that, that is not true.
Never.
Right.
That's
Okay.
not true.
Now they're showing a screenshot of a Child Protective Service centralized intake division. How do they get this?
I don't know. I couldn't read it.
Do you want me to show it or no?
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I know I cannot read it.
I mean, it's very hard to read. It says, if during the law enforcement investigation of this matter, you uncover concerns, suspect abuse, neglect of a child by a parent, caretaker, person responsible for the child, please refer the matter back to the CPS for further evaluations. This is dated on, it looks like May 5th, 2015.
That would have been after he was accused. I've never seen that.
So after he was accused, wasn't he 17 when he got accused and charged?
Yes.
All right, well, let's listen to what they have to say about it.
And the law enforcement notification. I'm not going to show every slide because obviously there's 26 slides to go through. And I'm going to try to not put out as much detail as last time. But I wanted to show you guys what I could. If you guys want to screenshot that, take a screenshot now.
I want to know what she says about this.
Move on.
This is a law enforcement notification, right? The complaint is not assigned to CPS for investigation. If during the law enforcement investigation of this matter, you uncover concerns, suspect abuse, neglect of a child by a parent, caretaker, person responsible for the child, please refer to the matter back to CPS for further investigations, is what it says.
Again, just a reminder, I believe it was Creator Watchdog down there that FOIA'd all of this information.
That is correct. You're correct.
Good redaction.
Yeah, holy redactions.
They are now showing another law enforcement complaint of child abuse and neglect dated May 5th, 2015. So this is the second page to the first one against Anthony, right? And it says this document includes the identity of reporting, it's blacked out, service case, the Michigan Child Protective Law, Public Act, I think 238 of 1976, Section 6, allows sharing this information between Children Protective Service and law enforcement. Note, I don't know, it's very small. The section of the law states the identify of the reporting person. My eyes are fucking straining. Look at how small this shit is. Look at, like, could you guys make that out? Like, that's what I'm trying to read. Anyways, let me listen to this.
It's just showing all this is who is involved. And I showed you that already in slide 1, like in the very beginning. This is about Anthony. Okay. So which slide should I keep? I'm just gonna put up the first one again. So you guys will have, while I'm reading. Okay. The enforcement complaint, there was child abuse and neglect dated 5/5/2015. The key allegations was a report involves a child referred to as RS, redacted name. You're gonna have to save your questions for the end. Just please bear with me. Please bear with me. Anthony is accused of physically pushing, shoving, and pulling RS around on multiple occasions and touching RS in genital area one time. No additional details provided. The RS disclosed the incidents to a teacher, and then the teacher contacted someone, it was redacted, who then reported it. The complaint was deemed not appropriate for Protective Services investigation at that stage. The report notes it must be referred to appropriate law enforcement agency and prosecutor within 24 hours. Then the victim was taken for a forensic she had to go to the emergency room. And the history of the present illness, which is a key allegation, the child reported being touched by Anthony, described as her mother's friend's son. The father was reportedly unaware of the incident until 4 or 5 days prior and had already contacted Child Protective Services, which assigned the case a number. The assessment and diagnosis was pediatric sexual abuse. The father was present and concerned. Child Protective Services was already involved, confirmed by the nursing staff, and the police department was to be notified, involved in further legal measures. The Michigan State Police then did hold forensic interviews. Tuesday, May 5th of 2015, a referral came in from Child Protective Services, and a forensic interviewer of the victim was conducted on May 15th, 2015. A second forensic interview with Anthony Brown's sister was also completed on May 15th, 2015. Anthony Brown was scheduled for an interview at the police station, but his mother contacted authorities stating he consulted an attorney and would not provide any statement or questioning. The summary of the Michigan State Police incident report on May 16th, 2015 at approximately 11 a.m. Investigators interviewed the grandmother at her home. The grandmother is the mother of, you see up here, which would be Ann's, which would be Blue Eyes on this app, and is the mother of the victim. She lives with her partner, which is Melissa, which is Stop the BS, who has 2 children, Anthony and another sibling, who also reside in the household. Allegations against Anthony, the grandmother was informed about allegations made against Anthony during a prior interview. She stated that if she had known about the incident, she would have contacted police immediately, as she is protective of all of her grandchildren. She has known Anthony since about the age of 10 and had long suspected he was a pedophile. About a year earlier, she had suspicions after a redacted name mentioned having something important to say but not wanting to tell her mom. The grandmother stated she would do anything to protect the victim and keep her safe. The specific disclosure is the victim reported that Anthony would come into her room and do things to her. I don't want to go into details on that. When she was little, the victim wanted to keep it between them and didn't want to pursue it any further at that time. The grandmother indicated the victim kept the matter private because she didn't want anyone else to know. The witness.
Do you want to talk about what she just said or no?
First of all, there was nothing that Angie knew about at the time. And there was rules in our house that were set long before I ever got with Angie. Number 2. Number 3, there's no way that he could have went into this bedroom at nighttime without us hearing anything, because his room was right in front of our bedroom door. He would have had to have went past our bedroom door to get into the other room. The floors creak, always have. There was never a time that he was able to sneak out and go anywhere.
May I ask a question really fast?
Yes.
Did you go into the situation about Angela's daughter's ex husband and how he, I think you did, right? And how they, I don't even want to say it. Okay, never mind.
Interview with the mother of Anthony, we're talking about Melissa now, stop the BS, was also living at the residence. She has 2 children, Anthony and another child who lived with her. She claims she did not suspect any inappropriate behavior and did not see anything related to the allegations made by the child. Anthony and her child spent Anthony and the other child spent some weekends with their father, appeared confused when asked for exact April dates, and she appeared confused when asked for April dates so she could narrow them down. I'm sorry. It's a lot. Take a breath here.
Take a deep
Can I
breath.
tell you why I asked
Now,
Absolutely.
for April dates is because in that April, he was 2 hours away from here. He wasn't even here that whole month. Part of, I want to say the last part of March through the month of April, he was with his dad by himself. So how could he do anything in April?
I'll take this time to remind everybody that all this information that Spilled is reading was given to her by Creator Watchdog down there, who FOIA'd this information from the state. So this is not fabricated. This is actual records from the incident that led to Anthony's arrest.
The interview with the mother of the victim, she was visibly upset and concerned for her daughter. When informed about the details from the child's interview, the mother stated that her daughter never told her anything about Anthony touching her, and she would have reported it right away. She started doing her own investigation and called the investigator on May 12, 2015 at approximately 8 a.m. to get more details. At that time, she was told the child was going to be forensically interviewed on Friday and no details were provided over the phone. So let's get into his charges. His original charge was criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, person under 13, defendant over 17. He pled guilty to criminal sexual conduct, assault with intent to commit sexual penetration. After the incident, the victim's father was granted full custody of the children and Andrew was given supervised visits due to failure to protect. And Anthony remained in the home until he went to jail for these offenses.
Ange was not given supervised visits with her grandchildren. It was the mother that was given supervised visits because it was the father is the one that claimed everything happened, talked to the 7-year-old, 8-year-old.
I never had supervised visits.
Yeah, Ange never had supervised visits.
Fucking absurd.
And the reason he was with his dad from the end of March through the month of April is because he was working with his dad. And I thought that would be good for him to, try and build a relationship with his father, which he always wanted. Still does not have to this day, but he's always wanted it. And I thought it would be good, just the two of them working together.
Now, I do have more screenshots where, I can show that, the kids were taken and all that stuff, but I'm not going to go there. This was in 2015 and he was 17. He was 5 months.
I'm sorry. She just said she has screenshots of the children being taken. Were your children ever taken from you?
No.
In 17 days between 15 and 17 days away from his 18th birthday.
I mean, he was arrested at 17 and a half. So, yes, he was taken to jail,
Right.
but I never lost custody or was in any danger of losing custody of my daughter at any time.
But let's not forget that his first victim was his sister.
Was not.
And then 11 years later, his stepsister became a victim as well.
Not his stepsister either.
Because the two mothers kept secrets.
Did she just say I kept secrets?
She said because the two mothers kept secrets. Do you need for me to rewind that? Because I will.
No.
Okay.
I kind of caught that, but there were no secrets.
You reported it.
When I caught him at 6 years old, my daughter was 2. Yes, I reported it. I reported it to as many people that I had to. Number 1, to get him help. Number 2, to make sure that, somebody knew about the 13-year-old that had just done it to him. Yes, I had to report it. You can't just keep that from anybody. And no, it did not happen with him and his sister when she was 7 and he was 11. Impossible.
I have to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to repeat this really fast for those of you guys who didn't hear it at the beginning, right? All I'm doing is giving this lady a safe place to tell her truth and her side of the story, and to clarify some of the misinformation that was spoken about in her live. When I had a phone call conversation, I made it very clear to her that her son is not allowed in my live. If you plead guilty or if you're charged with something by the law, you are guilty. Now, I made that very clear across this app. And I understand, right, with the other individuals that this is happening to, want to claim that they're innocent over there. And that's fine. That's their opinion on their situation. I am a firm believer, if you get charged with something and you plead guilty, or if you're charged with being guilty of a crime, you are fucking guilty. So I need for everybody to know and understand that. I am not defending this man and his behavior and what he has done. My personal opinion, it's fucking disgusting. All I'm doing is giving this lady a platform so you guys could hear her side of the story. That's it.
Yes, Holly Mae. The grandmother did move out
No, she didn't.
What did she say?
because she knew about it.
I need to
The
rewind that.
grandmother did move out.
Not true.
Did the grandmother ever live with you guys?
That's my wife.
Oh, I
My-
thought she was
my-
talking. I'm sorry.
No,
I thought
she's
she was
talking
talking
about.
about the other grandmother. Like, I don't know where my brain was at on that statement. Okay.
No, she's trying to say that my wife, who I'm legally married to, knew about it and moved out, and that's not true. She never moved out.
Because she knew about it. The first ones. But after this last one, she did move out. It's stated in the reports. I agree, Holly. I don't know what I don't understand what was going on at that time. But I think Tangled is going to play a part of a live that Stop the BS tries to tell this story of what happened. And now after we have all of the information, we re-listen to it. And it makes us sick to our stomachs to listen to her variation of this story, because there's more to it than even what I put out, because I was trying to spare everybody, because I was trying to take the constructive criticism from my last live. I'm not putting out too much detail. It's
I've seen the unredacted information and it's bad.
It's wild.
I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. A nosy neighbor, right? When you get a FOIA and children are involved, and it has nothing to do with you, right? Or it may have something to do with you, just in general, right? FOIAs don't get sent out unredacted. Please, TikTok, correct me if I'm wrong. Do they or do they not? Come on, Bougie, where you at, honey? When you FOIA information, right? Do you receive those reports unredacted? Come on, TikTok. Where's everybody at? No thoughts?
I'll take a couple of questions while Tangled gets ready. If Constantine, the creator watchdog, want to hop down, if you guys don't mind, I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate you guys with, supporting, like, I know contrary, like, they supported the hell out of this live. And thank you, Creator Watchdog, for giving me the information, and trusting me with it.
I would like to add that anybody from any side is allowed to come in here. It's not closed off. So if anybody has anything they want to say, come on in.
This isn't drama. This is
I
real
believe,
life.
okay, so a lot of information was withheld.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. Can you put up the show, the TV show that Anthony used to lure the victim into the bedroom, please?
Hold on a second. Let me grab it real quick.
Exactly, Mama Jax. This is only so people know exactly who is on this app. And as Spilled has shown prior, this isn't a one-time thing. This is repeated. Oh, I'll be right back.
Would you, do you know anything about that last statement that they just said
Which one?
about some kind of movie or video that your son supposedly allegedly used to lure the victim into the bedroom?
Yes, that I can tell you that never happened because at my house, and it was the rule with all of the children, is that the girls were not allowed in his room, and he was not allowed in my daughter's room or when the girls were in there. They were not allowed in each other's rooms ever, all because of what I saw when he was 6. That was done. I did not allow them. And if she wanted to watch that special show, she knew all she had to do was come out here and ask us to turn it on, and we would have turned it on for her. That's BS.
He's at work. Give me just a second.
This is repeated
So-
behavior. That's what I'm saying.
The victim did tell the grandmother and Ange and Melissa, and they kept it a secret. The victim went to school, told her teacher. Her teacher then contacted CPS. They contacted the father, and the father immediately took the daughter to the ER to get
That's not
examination
true.
and then be interviewed.
That is not true. My ex never took my daughter to an emergency room ever. Never.
The father actually got the custody of all of Ange's kids. She lost custody to all of them.
That is not true either.
Did
That's
she say
tot-
Angie? Did she say Angie's kids?
Yes.
Oh. Let me just slow it down and just take that back just a minute, because 32.
I will. Just slowing it down.
32. Let's take this back a minute.
See, he's at work. Give me just a second.
This is repeated
So-
behavior. That's what I'm saying.
The victim did tell the grandmother and Ange and Melissa, and they kept it a secret. The victim went to school, told her teacher.
So she says the victim told the grandmother and Melissa. So is she talking about your mother then as
No.
the grandmother?
No, she's talking about Ange, which is my wife, and
Right.
me, Melissa. That's me. And no, never was told to us ever.
So she's adding people into this situation that weren't even there?
Correct. Well, I mean, Ange and I live here.
Well, yeah, but
But-
a grandmother, right? She's adding a grandmother into this situation.
Well,
That-
I think I don't know if she's getting it confused with my daughter or
Right.
her granddaughter.
right.
But her
Her teaching-
granddaughter lived here until the father went and got custody back because of being in different counties. But
And
that is not
consequences.
why she lost custody of her kids, and it was for a short time that her daughter lost custody.
So Angela's daughter lost custody of her kids.
Yes.
And they're saying that you lost custody of your kids.
Yes, which I did not.
Mac, this is why we're doing this. This is exactly why we are doing this, because they got shit so confused, so twisted, and all the misinformation that went on in this fucking live is diabolical. It really is.
Yes. They contacted the father, and the father immediately took the daughter to the ER to get examination and then be interviewed. The father actually got the custody of all of Angie's kids. She lost custody to all of them.
It wasn't Angie's kids.
See,
Can I just ask a quick question before we get started? Don't mind. I'm writing a timeline just so I can kind of understand. I did read through the documentation as well. So for this offense that he served time for, I believe he was sentenced in 2016. And then he was then charged with failure to register in 2019. And then he got discharged from jail in 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
is that correct?
No, that's not correct. He was discharged from parole in 2024. That was not when he was discharged from jail.
Did he get some kind of violation for not registering?
Yes, he did,
He did.
but it had nothing to do with registering as an SO. It had to do with when he was on parole the first time.
Hold on
He-
1 second, honey. I have to restart. I'm not going to lose my live over this. I will be right